Nearly 5 million new jobs created last month. That's a record. Unemployment sits at about 11% and continues to drop. So is there a need for another multi-trillion taxpayer-funded relief package? My answer, of course, is no. But I think Congress sadly has a different idea. Please welcome to the program John Fund. He is the national affairs columnist for the National Review and Newsmax contributor he is as well. We're also joined by Christopher Cox. He is the co-founder of the investment firm OC Global Partners. He's a board member of the Nixon Foundation, named for his grandfather, Richard Nixon. John Fund and Christopher Cox, welcome to the program. Let's start with you, Christopher. These numbers are huge. And yet the media wants to downplay it and say the president's not responsible for it. You know, we expected this. Come on, right?
I mean, that number blew away expectations. And I think it's a tribute to how we're reopening our economy, that we're, looking to grow our economy, and that this is bringing jobs back. That is clearly attributable to our political leadership. Remember, several months ago, it took courage to envision reopening the economy. And I think that political courage, you're seeing the results of that now, which is a growing economy, growing jobs. And this is what we need to do to get our economy back on its feet. So I think that this is certainly a lot of credit is due to the president, to governors who have the political courage to open their economy. And this is great news for the American people. I will say that going forward, we have to keep our eye on the virus. If there are shutdowns that continue in the future, that could have an impact on jobs. But right now, this is a great number, and kudos to the president and to those courageous governors.
All right, Christopher, you bring up the virus, and I have long said the biggest challenge to business owners, and I'm a business owner myself, I've got a trucking company out there, the biggest challenge is uncertainty, when you don't know what is going to happen. Under Barack Obama, the uncertainty was what regulation's going to come next, what's law going to come next that's going to hurt us. Right now, John Fund, our uncertainty is what are they going to do with this virus? Is it going to come back? The shutdowns, what states are going to shut down? This makes it very hard for business owners, even though we're seeing improvements, a very difficult place to be if you're running a company today.
Well, we have to be very vigilant about the virus, but we also have to be a little skeptical of some of the media coverage. People need to be careful. However, just because you have more cases doesn't mean the bottom is falling out. Hospitalizations are up a bit, but we are being extra cautious in hospitalizing almost everyone who has some symptoms in some places, and deaths continue to go down. So as long as that trajectory occurs and that doesn't move, that's a certain predictability that the virus is slowly burning itself out and it's not replicating itself. And the worst thing to do in such a situation is to take the media exaggeration about the virus and combine it with pressure on Congress to extend the $600 a week unemployment.
Oh, well, we lost John Fund. Christopher Cox, that only means more time for you, my friend. So as John talks about the stimulus, look, the $600 a week, extending it through January, we all know what this is about. It's about buying votes for Joe Biden. We're going to pad your bank account up through the election.
I think the problem when you have too much stimulus is that it's going to create a lot of debt. That's going to ultimately be a drag on the economy. And eventually you're going to see, when the punch bowl's pulled away from the party, it's not going to be fun when we wake up. And I think that if we have additional stimulus, you're going to see a major hangover coming that'll slow growth over the next few years, looking out into 2025. And I think that will be bad for the economy. And you're right. This is all about vote buying. This is all about getting more votes. I believe in the American people. The American people are resilient. They know how to run their businesses just like you do. Let's put more power into the hands of business owners, the American people. That's what we need to do to get the economy going, which is less regulation, as you mentioned earlier. That's the type of stuff that we really need to be focusing on. I think extra stimulus, it's just sort of putting too much on what's already happened. It's going to be overkill. So I think that those Senate Republicans that are holding out against a massive stimulus, I think they're being very smart.
All right. And John Fund, I want to ask you, because this is so important. We talk about it all the time. But who is going to pay for this? Another round of stimulus. I've got an 11-year-old son. He's the guy that's got to end up paying for it. All of your kids, grandkids, whatever out there.
Well, there are only two choices. Either future generations will be burdened with a crushing debt, which will limit their future and opportunities, or we have raging inflation and the value of our currency goes down and we basically have less to spend.
Well, we tried with John Fund. Almost. Christopher Cox, I want to show you something, though, just on this July 4th, because I think it's so cool who your grandfather was, Richard Nixon. We found this old photo there. Your thoughts about July 4th and your time with your grandfather, real quick?
Absolutely. You know, I love spending holidays with my grandfather. Of course, after the presidency, he came back east relatively quickly after he left the presidency, right around the time I was born. So I got to spend a lot of time with him in northern New Jersey. And I have to say that summers with him, I have some of the best memories of my entire life. We swam in his swimming pool. We played basketball in his basketball court. He actually threw me wiffle balls, and I got to hit wiffle balls off of him. So that was some of my best memories were summers there. And, of course, the 4th of July fireworks in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is where we go to watch them. They were just great memories. Even some years, I think it was legal back then, but we would set off fireworks in our backyard with Roman candles and sparklers and things like that. Just great memories of Americana and growing up in America in the 1980s. It was a wonderful experience, and to have it with a great-grandfather was truly special.
Absolutely. And, you know, for everybody out there, everyone will agree. Your grandfather doesn't need to be president of the United States to have a great time with him. I remember my times on Long Island with my grandfather, getting in a little sailboat that he built by hand, a World War II vet. They are great summer memories, and I hope everybody can reflect on those, because this 4th of July is a little different than we've had in the past, but enjoy it, folks. John Fund, thank you. Christopher Cox, it's a pleasure talking to you as well. Happy July 4th.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems, or go to newsmaxtv.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.